Hello, world. Happy Thursday. Hi, everybody. We're all gathering. Hello, hello, as everybody gathers. Happy Thursday. Hello, happy Thursday. I'm so happy to be here. As always, I'm ready to get right into it. Are you? Let's do this. Today, we are talking about stress. Are we surprised? No, no surprises here. We are going into today's 5 steps to stress-free success. So here's what I know. You are feeling the effects of stress. Stress is happening and it's feeling like you can't even be you anymore. You can't even enjoy yourself fully. So I'm here to help give you exactly what you need to be successful. All right. Welcome to Billable Hour Burnout. If you need some helpful tactical advice that actually helps give you the career of your dreams without the stress or overwhelm, you are in the right place. If you want to finally enjoy the career that you've spent decades building, you are in the right place. If you're finding yourself here today, it means you're ready to experience more balance, more ease, more confidence, and you're ready to make it happen without having to quit your job or burn down your life. My name is Lauren Baptiste. I'm your Big Four auditor turned regulatory tax consultant turned life coach. You are listening to Billable Hour Burnout. On the show, I'm sharing simple, tactical advice and mindset strategies specifically catered to the modern accountant and consultant and attorney. You ready? Let's go. It's April 18th. Happy April, everybody. We are still in the month of April, which means we're still in National Stress Awareness Month. Now we are 18 days in. Have you been taking stock of your stress? How are you feeling? This has been a particularly strange month. I've been hearing it from a lot of you, a lot of random illnesses, the eclipse, just the aftermath, just a couple of hard weeks, whatever it's been for you. If you're feeling it and you're noticing it, well, first, congratulations, because that means awareness is happening, even if it's subtle. Last week, we specifically talked about the first step of stress success is awareness. We talked about the 5 pillars that you can walk through, you can revisit last week's episode of the 5 pillars of burnout, according to Calmer. And then I added my own symptoms that I see for those that are working in accounting and in law. So I give you exactly crisp, clear symptoms of what you might be experiencing based on the pillar or step of stress that you're in, anywhere from the onset of stress to chronic burnout. So you're going to want to watch that if you haven't already. But let's talk about what's going on in my life. I always love to give a little update and an anecdote because I'm here to get to know you and I'm here for you to get to know me a little bit better. This past week, so I will say there was some beautiful weather earlier this week. I'm outside of New York City and it was just gorgeous. The daffodils are in bloom, the cherry blossoms are blossoming. It's just that perfect. It was that crisp 65-degree sunny weather. It was amazing. So on Monday, I went for a nice walk in the middle of the day. I was able to break away from the grind for a minute just to take in some fresh air. And then Tuesday, I played hooky that day, and I went out with my sister. We did some celebrating. She got a new job. I'm experienced some belated birthday celebrations, and we went shopping. We did some actual ladies who lunch, I was surprised that it's much more tiring than I thought it would be. But that being said, it was so fun and I had the best time. And yeah, but now I'm back at it. I'm working again and here I am. And I'm so excited to be here with you today. That being said, Ladies Who Lunch, stick around. I am doing a virtual networking tomorrow. That's April 19th, called Ladies Who Lunch. I'll share more in the end. But if you haven't signed up already, we already have 46 women who are coming tomorrow. Incredible. I'm so excited to see this group come together. You can be part of it. So make sure you sign up on all the websites, all the things, all the links. I'll share more in the call to action at the end. But I want to get into it. Always love to share a client success story. This one's coming from my client, Lamon. She's an attorney and PI. She said, coaching was a great decision for me because I have found the freedom to accept myself and to show up more authentically for my life, for my career, and for my family. Coaching with Lauren works. Just do it, period. And the earlier, the better, so that you can shed any doubts and finally reconnect with yourself. So thank you, Lamon. I love that story. I love seeing my clients graduate. I love seeing my clients successful. And one thing that I'm actually doing is a personal data study with my clients. I'm measuring their impact and their effectiveness of their stress over time, their time management over time, their confidence over time, and their work-life balance, because sometimes burnout can feel so intangible. But what I know to be true is that it is tangible. We can make progress and improvement. And so I'm creating the data to show it. So more for a different episode on a different day, but pulling the results is one of my favorite things, and seeing my clients thrive is just creme de la creme. Okay. So today I want to take you through a 5-step process. We know awareness is going to play into it a little bit, but I want to imagine it's post 415. Either we're feeling the effects of the stress of the taxes, or maybe we were the accountant that did the taxes, or maybe we're in audit and we just have a 415 audit deadline. So I want to just say that no matter what profession you're in, what you're dealing with, this could be one of those weeks where stress was happening. So I want to imagine that you're wrapping up this 415 deadline, but you still notice that you're overwhelmed. You hit the deadline, you're on the other side of the finish line, and you're still feeling stressed out. Maybe you're feeling low quality sleep, dry skin, weak nails, irregular menstruation, maybe even a low-lying anxiety. Very normal when we are experiencing stress. Okay, so you're done with the deadline, but you're seeing yourself still maybe putting in late hours, or you're able to escape work at an earlier time, but you don't know how to use the time. You don't know how to stop working. You are like, wait, but maybe, like, we're almost trained to keep going at this point. You don't know how to stop. You don't know how to rest. You don't know how to recover from burnout. You're likely telling yourself, this is my last busy season. I'm never doing this again. But you're not really sure where to go next. Here's what's happening. You're falling into the same pattern that's not serving you. So today I'm going to share those 5 steps so that you can start breaking this pattern and make progress, whether it is you don't want to stay in this profession another year, or you just want to start feeling better and recovering from the stress so that you can enjoy the last half of April and maybe even the beginnings of summer, if that's for you, getting to where you're at right now. Okay. Step 1, notice, right? This is the awareness we were talking about last week, but last week was stress awareness. But I want you to notice what's going on. Often what we have to do in order to notice is that we need to pause. We need to take an awareness of where we're at. And so, yes, we can watch last week's episode if you're not really sure where you fall on the stress spectrum. But if you have been noticing, I'm stressed, even though I shouldn't be, right? I throw that in air quotes if you're watching me on a video. If we're still feeling stressed, even though we technically shouldn't be, we need to figure out why. We need to pause. This is one of the hardest steps. It's the first step, but I promise you, if you do this, everything starts to line up. Oftentimes, instead of pausing and becoming aware of what's going on or noticing what's going on, we counterproductively cope with an alcoholic beverage, going out, maybe a lot of shopping. No, my shopping this week wasn't for counterproductive reasons. It was for very productive reasons. But I want you to be thinking about, what are you doing? Are you smoking more than you normally do? What's happening that you're doing? Did you gain a few pounds in the last month just because you don't feel like you were able to manage your health habits? Notice what's going on. Maybe you even notice that your eyes twitching, or you're breaking out, or your menstrual cycle that's about to happen is going to be way heavier or way more irregular or just different, pushed out, prolonged, all of the things, right? Notice if it's different. We have to notice. If we don't take a moment and pause, we're just going to try to fix it with something that's not a solution. It's just a Band-Aid. So we need to take a moment and pause. Okay. Step one is notice. We pause, we take awareness, we figure out what's going on. Then step two, we evaluate. Evaluating can be very complex or it can be very simple. One of my coaches taught me 3 questions that can take over or completely encapsulate the evaluation strategy. What went well? There's a reason why we talk about what went well in a situation to it keeps us balanced mentally and it keeps us in a psychologically good place. So what went well? Then what didn't go well? And then what would we do differently? So I like to say WW, what went well, WDW, what didn't go well, WDD, what you would do differently. It can be that simple. Ask yourself those 3 questions. Okay, so during that busy season, hypothetically, what went well? Things got done on time. Maybe you were still able to sleep a consistent 6 hours a night at the same midnight to 6 every day. Maybe you noticed you weren't on your phone scrolling when you had a down minute, but you went out for a walk. Notice what went well and make sure we celebrate that. And if the list is short, that's okay too, but there's always something that went well. Did we feed ourselves properly? Did we nourish? Even if we didn't eat the best food, did we make sure we ate our meals at the same time every day or give or take? There's always something that went right, so make sure you notice that first. Okay, then we go to what didn't go well. Really be specific here. What didn't go well? Maybe you didn't nourish yourself. You didn't eat the right foods when you really wanted to. Maybe you weren't proactive in the pre-busy season time, the interim period where you could have planned out certain meals. Maybe you noticed yourself continuing to work at 2 a.m. when you were exhausted, but then you'd have to do rework the next day. I want you to notice what didn't go well, right? So we're noticing in that first step, but we're taking what we noticed and we're bringing it into our evaluation. It's not just, oh my goodness, my eye's twitching, but we're noticing, why is the eye twitching? Why am I not feeling good? So we know what went well, we know what did not go well, we know what we're going to do differently. Take time here. This part of the evaluation is key. This is the differentiator. So if you can say, all right, here's what I'm going to do differently. Like I mentioned earlier, maybe you do use interim and you spend an hour next year to really pick out the meals nearby. Maybe there's a Sweet Green down the road. Maybe there's other places where you can grab healthy meals. Maybe you figure out on Sundays how you can meal prep. There's so many things you can do. On top of that, right, I talk about tactics a lot, but I also talk about mindset. So yes, the tactics of doing the things I just said, but are you doing evaluations like this regularly? Are you coaching yourself? Are you asking yourself the hard questions? Are you raising your hand when you need help? So often I find that women in accounting, law, and consulting can be so independent to the point that it is not self-serving. So what it's doing is self-sabotaging. So instead of raising our hand for help, we take the burden on ourselves, thinking that I should be able to solve for why I don't feel good or why I'm not healthy or make myself feel really bad about it. That is not the name of this game. What we'll do differently just helps us understand what would make it better. And then we can think about, well, what support do I need to get there? So we went deeper today into an evaluation, but really what went well, what didn't go well, what you'll do differently, period. Step 3, tweak. So first we noticed, then we evaluate, now we tweak. Here's the thing, tweaking or changing, it's like 2 sides on a spectrum, and then there's like shift in the middle. So we have tweak, shift, change. I was on a consultation yesterday with a woman who was working in consulting, and she was like, the idea of change scares me. Even in consulting, right? We could still feel that change is scary, even though we help others manage change. But when we think about it for ourselves, it feels hard and daunting. And the idea of changing can feel so overwhelming that we don't even do it. So instead, what we do is nothing. Or we do everything and overhaul our life, or we do nothing. I'll tell you, neither of them work. Here's what we have to do instead. Small tweaks. Now, if we're really feeling stressed and overwhelmed, we tweak about 1% a day. One small thing. Maybe it's starting with drinking water, and then we add to it. But if you're feeling good momentum, maybe you're like, okay, I'm not completely burnt out. I'm just a little stressed. Maybe you could do a 5 or a 10% shift. So instead of just drinking water, which again, if we do that cumulatively, that's amazing. So there's no shame in the game of 1% a day. But if we have more energy, more we can give, more that we can meet ourselves at, then we can make a bigger shift. Notice how I still don't say, let's make a change? No, because the change is too big of a leap. So we stay in the world of tweak or shift. And for today, step 3, I'm calling it tweak. Let's stay in the tweak. If we're really stressed, I recommend a 1% shift. Maybe the thing that you do after busy season is just start to tell yourself what time you're going to start going to bed. Okay, I want to be in bed at 11 o'clock. In order to do that, I need to make sure that I am washing up by 10 o'clock. Great. That means I need to finish dinner by 8 o'clock. That means I need to log off from work by 6:30, right? You see how you can work backwards and then help yourself get to sleep. So just start there. That's it. And if that feels like something too big, what's even smaller? Can you wake up and make your bed the next morning? Maybe even smaller than that. When your alarm goes off, don't hit snooze, right? There are such small steps that we take that can have such a large impact. So I want to be mindful of that. It doesn't have to be an overhaul of changing your life, but it's making one decision and working around that decision. So, okay, we decided what we're going to tweak. Now we implement it. So we noticed, we evaluate, we tweak, and now we implement. So I've decided I'm not going to hit snooze anymore. Oof, that's going to feel hard. Okay, that's what we agreed to though, right? So we're going to say, I'm going to not hit snooze tomorrow when the alarm goes off. How do I make sure that gets done, right? This is the implementation phase. Maybe on day 1, the alarm goes off, I make the mistake, I hit snooze, and that's my normal reaction when I hear that noise. Okay, day 2, I'll try it again. I'm going to implement it again, right? Because we're not just going to give up on the first try. Maybe we put the phone on the other side of the room and we have to actually stand up to grab the phone. Maybe we change it from vibrate to an actual tone, so we have to hear the sound. Maybe we put it so far into the kitchen that we have to really get up and run to it. And I bet you if you're getting up that far, there's no way you're jumping back into bed. So notice, implement the goal. So we set the goal, which we talked about in the tweak stage, and then we practice constraint to get the goal. And we give ourselves time to implement it. I promise you, one and done does not work. We need to try, and we need to rewire the brain, and we need to see what happened. And so we implement, and then we repeat. Step 5. I notice, did this work or didn't it? I evaluate, what about snoozing went well? What didn't go well? What will I do differently? What am I going to tweak for the next time? How am I going to implement that? And then how am I going to repeat? Notice, evaluate, tweak, implement, repeat. Notice, evaluate, tweak, implement, repeat. Notice this easy process. It doesn't have to be rocket science to be effective. It just needs to be small enough and digestible enough that you will actually do it. That's it. That's it. So this is literally it. This is for today, the message that I wanted to share, because stress-free life does not have to be so far away. It doesn't have to feel so hard. It doesn't have to be so scary. Sometimes all it takes is loving accountability to get us to where we want to go. We have to hold ourselves to that. And if we can't hold ourselves to that, that's where we raise our hand and we ask for help. That's my bread and butter. This is my specialty. I love helping the hardest working women work through the small stuff that's holding them back from their happiness, from their joy, from their most productive self, their most creative self, the highest book of business self, the one that gets to spend time with their kids in the evening and be present at the dinner table self. That is the work that I do and the work that I help my clients do. And you'll be hearing testimonial after testimonial after testimonial every week, because every week we are graduating clients who are hitting their levels of success. So, that being said, thank you so much for listening to today's episode of Billable Hour Burnout. If you like this, drop a comment, hashtag replay. Let me know you watched it on the replay, and let me know wherever you hang. I want to hear how it goes. You can give me a thumbs up on YouTube. I'm on Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, and wherever you hang. I can't wait to keep hearing. I get this feedback. I really listened to this. I liked this. Here's what I'd love to hear. I'm building my content based on you. You're telling me what you want, and I'm bringing it to you every week. Make sure you're following me on Instagram at handle the Lauren Baptiste. On LinkedIn, you can find me Lauren Baptiste. And I can't wait to hear what's next. So just to share some upcoming events, Ladies Who Lunch, my virtual networking for women professionals, is tomorrow, the 19th at 12:30. If you want to be part of it, it's absolutely free, but it is one of the hours of my quarter. We did this in Q1. Tomorrow is Q2. The next time we're doing this is Q3. If you want to be part of this, really powerful women, over 46 already. I looked at the list. We have some powerhouses that are going to be in the room. I suggest you join and register. So register. I'll include the link in all the places on my profiles. You should be able to find it. Otherwise, DM me if for some reason you can't. Join me tomorrow. It's going to be so much fun. Last thing I want to leave you with today is we're coming to the end of Stress Awareness Month. Burnout is overcomable. It may feel hard to you, but it feels really easy to me. It is simple for you to move out of it because I have the method and the tools to help you get there. If you're feeling like you're tired of being tired and you're ready for something better, reach out to me. It is the most fun and the easiest and fastest way, guaranteed, to get out of the burnout cycle. So you can book a consultation with me. You can go to my website, laurenbaptiste.com, also acaloawellness.com. Lauren Baptiste is the secret backdoor to get to the same website, but you can put in either. You could see and learn more about my coaching program, Freedom, my 6-month program. You can learn more about how I work with companies, and you can bring me in to speak to your team. But either way, have the best rest of your Thursday. I hope to see you tomorrow at the virtual networking event. But for now, I'll see you next time. Thanks for joining.